Hey Samarpita, hi, I'm Sonal and welcome to my channel Sonal from USA. This is the channel about, to help students, to people who are immigrants on visa or anything. So I'm a HR professional and I'm very passionate about, people aspect of it to help our immigrant students who are coming here. So as a resource, I try to get help from students, share their experiences. So thank you so much for joining my channel, and I wanted to first request you if you can give your quick brief background, and then we'll take it from there.
Okay. Hi, Sonal. It's my pleasure. I like doing this. Yeah. So I am Samarpita, and my background is I'm currently pursuing my master's in electrical engineering from New York University, and I did my bachelor's in electronics engineering from Mumbai University.
So when you completed your engineering, you thought about MS, or you also were thinking about MBA. And when you were thinking about MS, did you only think about US or any other countries were also in your consideration?
So the thing is, I thought I wanted to do MS when I was in when I was in second year. So
Wow.
I started preparing since then, and then I thought about the two options I had was which I thought of were USA and Canada. But then in the end, I ended up choosing USA because it's like the tech hub right now,
Mm-hmm.
and I know there is globalization, but still it's the first things which come up here are in the USA. So it's the tech hub, and then I ended up choosing USA over
Okay.
Canada.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. And I know that in this pandemic also you got the internship. So, we'll keep that for the end. Let viewers watch the entire vlog to see how you have journey
Yeah.
and how you got that. That was a super
Okay.
duper thing in pandemic that we will highlight.
Thank you.
So when you were considering MS in US,
Mm.
which other
Mm.
universities you were considering?
So I applied to USC, University of Southern California. I applied to University of California, San Diego. I applied to University of Michigan, University of Maryland, College Park, and NYU. And I actually applied to one college in Canada also, if you know, University of British Columbia. So yeah, these were the colleges I applied to. Like
Okay.
I did not really I looked at the cities and where I'll be applying, but I did not look at the positioning of the tech companies in there and my university. So that's what I think I should have done even when I was choosing my colleges, like West Coast and East Coast, because more East Coast is all about financial hub. Like New York City is about financial hub, and the West Coast, which is San Francisco and Bay Area, is all about the technology. And since I'm doing my master's in technology, so I think going there would have been a better choice, but I have no regrets joining NYU too.
Okay. So you mean to say a location of university makes a difference?
Yeah, it makes a lot of difference because the startups in West Coast, they don't want to spend a lot of money relocating you from any other different place. So and there are many startups you can work for. So it's actually easy when you're right there and there because it's they are investing lesser money in you. So it's better to be in the West Coast if you want to if you are aiming for tech companies. Yeah.
That's a very good tip. Because normally I have seen that students have an inclination to look at weather, cost of
Mm-hmm.
living, and curriculum, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah,
this is another aspect that they can add into.
yeah.
Out of all these universities, which universities you got admitted to?
So I got admitted to all of them
Wow.
except University of Michigan.
Okay.
Yeah, but that was my top one. So yeah,
Okay.
I
So
really wanted to go to University of Michigan, but yeah, I think that was the only reject I got.
okay. So why did you choose NYU? Just
So
because it's in the
NYU,
city, or was there also
no,
aspect
no,
of
no. So the thing
curriculum?
is,
Mm-hmm.
I did not when I was coming, I did not think about the tech part of it. I always knew going to a city, bigger city, is a better will give you better opportunities. But so the thing with it, and I thought NYC is a good city to have which will have greater opportunities. But I did not think of it in the part of the tech side.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, it still has way more opportunities than any other city, but it's yeah, and it was NYC, and I looked at the research opportunities. So they had a lot of robotics and embedded systems courses. So I just went ahead with this. They
Okay.
and so the thing with USC was I would have otherwise joined USC. So I got a spring admit from USC,
Mm-hmm.
and I did not wanted to like stay back for 6 months and then go. And even for USC, you can't really do a summer internship.
Okay. Okay.
So that is a bad thing. Like it's very important to have an internship experience.
Okay. Okay. I
So
got it.
these are the few things I considered. Then I was like, let's go for NYU.
Okay. So if you have to summarize in 3 points the best things
Hmm.
that you wanted to choose NYC University, what would it?
Hmm.
Curriculum, technology, city, in any order that you think was
Okay.
important.
So I think first it should be curriculum, and then I think it should be city, and then like so the thing with NYC, it's really cost of living is really high. But then I went ahead with it because the curriculum and the opportunities were like like it just held a better like greater place for me. I just prioritized them over the
Okay.
cost of living back then. Yeah.
Okay. But that was also a factor in your mind that the cost
Yeah,
of
yeah.
living is high.
It's really high, yeah. But
Okay.
so the thing with NYU is you get on-campus jobs very easily.
Mm-hmm.
There are like huge number of on-campus jobs. So the cost of living would have been covered by that. So yeah.
Okay, so we'll come to on-campus jobs
Yeah,
later
yeah.
on.
Okay,
But
okay. Yeah.
since we talked about the cost of living, I wanted to check, like, what is the cost of living as a student to
Okay.
study in NYU?
So yeah, so the thing is like it goes up to like $800 to $900 like
Wow.
per month because even if you have a shared room, it'll be like the rent goes up to like 500, 550, and the rest of it like totally depends on you. So, and since I'm a foodie, I like eating outside. So I do eat outside, but yeah, like it goes up to 800 to 900 is the range. It goes up
Okay.
to like, no matter how much you save, it'll just still go up to 800 at least.
What was your GRE TOEFL score, Samarpita?
So I gave my GRE twice. The first time I scored 318 and the second time I scored 334.
Wow.
And my TOEFL score was 114, I think. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's
Yeah.
excellent. I wanted to check, when you came here, how did you prepare for the entire visa interview and,
Okay.
for the paperwork and everything? Did you consult anybody or you did everything by your own?
So I did not really consult anybody. Like the only consultation was Google.
Okay.
So I just looked up like what all they need exactly, like income statements and what all things to sponsor your education, the finances, and yeah, like if you Google enough, you will just find out everything, and it's just out there. You just have to take a little more efforts, and it was nice. Like I just and for especially for the visa interview, I interviewed for the most asked questions. You can always get it on the internet, like the most asked questions. What all do they ask about? And there were few things that you need to know at the tip of your tongue, like the finance, like how much is the tuition fee of your college. So all that is like, yeah, it was like I just prepared for those few questions which I normally asked, and I just went ahead.
Can you tell me if you remember what were your F1 interview
Yeah.
questions? Because I get a lot of these requests from
Mm-hmm.
students, what are the F1 questions that they ask, and you do have to tell you about the sponsorship. If you can just tell in brief what are the key
Yeah,
questions
yeah.
that people should prepare for.
There are like few questions that people should prepare for is like why this university and what are like how is that person planning to sponsor his education, and documents like income statements of your parents, your loan amount, whatever. It should be like ready with you, your I-20, and like you should basically know your I-20 from first line to your last line. Like you should just know it very well.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, like I think that's enough actually. If you know it enough, like if you know about your college, about your why do you want to come to US, what are your plans like after you come here, I think it's good enough. And you shouldn't even try to lie about anything on your visa interview. That's one of the foremost point. People actually do lie, and they know where people do lie, so they just catch them as a point blank.
Absolutely. It's a great
Yeah.
point. And one more tricky question. I know that people ask this
Mm.
question normally in the interview that what is your plan after completion of your MS? It's a most tricky question that I have seen. And what
Hmm.
was your answer for that question?
So I prepared I wasn't asked that question luckily.
Okay.
But yeah,
Okay.
I prepared like and this is actually my plan. So I want to work here. I want to gain experience for at least 2-3 years, and then like my plan is to like go back to India and then work there.
How much time you had in hand between your visa approval and coming here?
So I think I had like 20 days. I think 20, yeah, around a month actually.
Okay.
20, 25 days. Yeah,
Okay. So
that's
any
all I
tips
had.
what one should bring from India?
So the thing is like it's best if you carry utensils from India. It's just nice there because you're used to those kind of utensils. You know what to use where. It's not like you have to carry everything. It's cheaper also in India, right? It's way cheaper. It just brings down your cost of living when you come here. If you have to buy everything, it becomes expensive if you have to
Mm-hmm.
come here and buy everything. So yeah, that clothes, and I recommend not to bring any winter jackets from India because they are just better here, and the winter here is like it's harsh sometimes. So I
Right.
think buying winter jackets from here is a good idea.
Then
Yeah,
I also tell
like I think
people buy
yeah, and I
frozen
bought lots of Maggie.
Maggie.
Yeah,
That's a survival, right? Survival mode.
yeah.
Absolutely. So tell
Especially the
me.
days when I didn't know how to cook.
Uh-huh. Okay. So you started cooking now?
Yeah.
Tell me, Samarpita, when you come from India, you have a different expectation in your mind, right? About the university
Hmm.
curriculum, how the entire thing would be.
Yeah.
So your expectation versus what is the reality here? Was it
Okay.
matching, or there was a lot of differences that you saw?
So the thing is, like, before I came here, I spoke to a lot of friends who were already doing their masters in US.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of knew it was going to be really hectic, like especially with the assignments and doing everything on your own. Like you're
Mm-hmm.
just here on your own. So it's going to be hectic. So that I kind of knew. But and so going to university and library, it was all okay until coronavirus hit the country, and then it just stopped. Like everything was, we were just home all 24/7. So that was actually really bad for emotional, mental health kind of. You're just inside the house for so long.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But then other than that, like I had really good flatmates actually. So it just went through very nicely because we were all there. We were all there for each other. So it was all good. And like people do expect like it's going to be a smooth ride, but it's not really that smooth of a ride. Like people have to struggle hard to get jobs and internships, and yeah, like there are many things you have to do on your own basically.
Right. So, coming
Yeah.
from a very pampered and protected background where,
Yeah.
in India we have a
Yeah.
lot of services, we have,
Yeah. Yeah.
cooks
Yeah.
and, a lot of
Yeah.
other things
Yeah.
there. We don't have to worry about, washing
Yeah.
clothes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So how was that
Yeah.
experience?
Like at first it was very overwhelming. Oh my God, I'm doing laundry on my by myself. I'm cooking. So I didn't know even like I didn't know how to cook, like not at all. So at first I used to be really bad at cooking. I just hated my own food. But then it was more like a survival kind of thing. Like I need to eat just to survive. So then it was okay. Then later I learned from few friends and here and there. Yeah. Then it was all okay. Like it just becomes okay after a while.
Okay. And
You just get used to it.
you get used to it. But it's kind
Yeah.
of a little bit hardship in the beginning to
Yeah,
adjust.
yeah, definitely. With the assignments, with the academics and everything, it's actually hard sometimes. But yeah.
Okay. So when you came here, how
Hmm.
did you manage about your apartment, pickup and other things? How did you arrange all those things? Did you arrange everything from
Okay.
India, or you had
No.
friends here? How did you manage the whole thing? How did you find your apartment? Can you share a little bit of that experience?
Yeah. The thing is, I did not find anything from India. Like I did not book my apartment from India. I thought like it's best to like go there, see it by yourself, and then book them because photos can be deceptive sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
So we just thought like we were a group of 4-5 people who were looking for apartments. We
Mm-hmm.
just thought like once we reach NYC, we'll just look for apartments then. That was one of the thing. Second thing was like when I reached here, so none of my Forex card wasn't working. So I
Oh,
couldn't really book any cab. And since I did not have a SIM card, I couldn't call anyone.
wow.
And so the thing is like the only thing remaining was yellow taxi, which is like you stand in a queue for like I think I stood in a queue for like around 2 hours. After that, I finally got one,
2
and then
hours?
I just yeah, it was huge because it was JFK.
Okay.
So it was huge. The queue was huge. So finally, I got one cab. Me and my friend were traveling together. So finally, we got a cab, and then I just came home and like, oh my God, finally I reached home.
Okay.
It was like a huge, big thing. The pickup thing was a huge nuisance. Like I didn't not know who to contact. It was just, but
So-
yeah, it's okay. Like,
But you said you didn't find the apartment when you came from India. So when you came from airport, where
yeah.
did you
So
go?
yeah. So I had a temporary accommodation, like where I can live for a few days.
Okay.
So I had that. I booked that from India.
Okay.
I
So
was
kind
going
of
to stay with.
Airbnb. Okay, basically you stayed with your friend.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fine.
Okay. But any advice that people can find out their apartments from India, or it's advisable that they come here and do it?
Like it depends. Like it totally depends.
Okay.
Like I never trusted the photos because they can be really deceptive. And my
Right.
friends also advised me to come here and look for apartments.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes it's best to have everything settled up and then come here.
Okay.
But it totally depends on the person and the place.
Now, how do you commute to the college, and where do you live? Is it like in the same vicinity? Is it walking distance, or you have to
No.
take a T?
So yeah. So I have to take the subway, and it's like 25 minutes by subway. So
Okay.
yeah, I live very close to the station, so it's like 5 minute walk to the station. I just then commute by subway basically.
So it's
But
not
right
that
now
bad.
since
You
it's
don't have to
online,
walk or
yeah.
something, because I've
No,
seen
no,
people
no,
walking in the winter. So
no,
because
no,
you're
no,
lucky
no.
that it's just close to subway,
Yeah,
and I think that is the benefit
yeah,
of being in the city.
yeah,
Coming
yeah.
to the onshore, because I was talking to recently to one student, where he had a very different perspective, that because his college is very close to downtown university, on-campus jobs were less. What is your experience being in NYU? How is the scene for the on-campus jobs?
So the thing with NYU is it's really easy to get an on-campus job actually. Like a portal, you just apply there, and then even not just on-campus job, you can just apply for research assistantships and all.
Mm-hmm.
So it's actually comparatively compared to the other colleges, it's way easier to get on-campus job in NYU.
Okay.
And NYU, and with NYU, it's just not the engineering school. You can get an on-campus with their art school, with their business school, like any other school in NYU.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay.
Yeah,
So
so
you're not
it just
limited to that.
expands your opportunities to get an
Mhm.
on-campus job.
So what kind of on-campus job you did? So,
First year, like first 2 semesters, I was a research assistantship. Like I was working in a lab, in a robotics lab under a professor. And this semester, I actually am continuing my internship, my summer internship. So I'm not working on campus this semester.
okay. So does the internship helps to pay off some of your bills, expenses?
Yeah.
Okay.
Totally.
And is there also a scholarship factor here that you got?
Scholarship depends on your GRE score.
Okay.
So I have a lot of I have around $18,000 worth of scholarship.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So that is how much percentage of your fees?
That's like 50%.
That's cool. So, and remaining, then you are covering through the internship and some of your expenses.
Yeah, internship, and yeah, like my parents also help me. do
Okay,
it.
okay. But that reduces your burden, right? Financially.
Yeah.
That's a great news. Samarpita, tell me, how was your campus experience in NYU? Now that you're not going in pandemic, how was your
Yeah.
experience? Can you just share a little bit, for the students who are watching, how it feels
Yeah.
like working and studying in the NYU University?
So it is actually a very great experience. At least I am lucky that I could do it at least for one semester, because it was almost like 1.5 semester, like the full of fall and half of spring semester. So it was actually a really great experience. Like it's just nice, like going to college, going to the library, seeing other people study. You just get motivated, and especially going to in-person classes. So the thing is, I can focus a lot more on when it's in person rather than when it's online, because it's very easy to get distracted when you're online. And when it's in person, it's like you're there, you can ask doubts, you can just talk to the professor. And it's just nice, like when it's in person. But I don't really have a problem with the online thing also, because it just saves a lot of time, a lot of money actually. Because subways are like expensive. It's just nice, and even it saves a lot of time. You can do many other things.
You talked about subways. How expensive are subways? It would cost for a month, to travel to campus.
So actually, subways are really expensive. They take around, like for a month, the monthly pass costs around $128.
Wow, that's quite expensive.
So they are, yeah.
So
So
it's an
you
additional cost of
easily
living
save
in
one.
city, if you
Yeah,
can't
yeah,
stay
yeah,
close
yeah,
to the
yeah, yeah,
campus
yeah.
and then you have to stay in somewhere,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
is little.
So, so the thing is, even if you stay close to the campus, so the thing is, you still have to travel somewhere, right? Like you have to go out, let's say, somewhere, anywhere else.
Mm-hmm.
So you still need to take the subway.
Right.
So this is like a monthly pass. You can just travel.
So you can
Yeah.
buy grocery, you can travel anywhere, do anything.
Yeah.
I
You
understood.
can.
So it's a
It's the
one-time
same pass
pass,
for the bus.
season pass kind of thing.
Yeah.
And you said that it's a good experience, being in campus. So what are the differences,
Hmm.
being in India campuses versus this campuses? Did you see any differences that you feel, wow, that, oh, I'm in NYU and these are the things, like when I talk to other students, they say, oh, there's a squash court, there's this, that. So what is those things that you feel are really
Like,
good?
I think So one of them would be infrastructure. Like it's way different here. So the thing is, with NYU, it's an urban campus. Like there's not a boundary to the campus. It's like there are many offices inside the campus. So it's like an urban. It's like many buildings around it, and so it doesn't really have a campus, but still it's just nice. It has everything else, but a campus. I don't have any differences. Like cafeteria and all is really good.
Okay.
Like you get really good food there,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
really hygienic.
We would
That's
definitely
all.
like to
Yeah.
do a tour with you, whenever you go next
Yeah,
time. You can.
definitely.
But nice to know about your experience. I am sure
Yeah,
you are happy with your NYU campus selection, right?
yeah, definitely.
Okay. So now coming to the CPT OPT scene, I mean,
Mm.
I as an HR professional get a lot of requests from student, for the curriculum training, then OPTs. So what is your experience, and also what is your friend's experience in this current pandemic? Was it easy
Okay.
to get CPT, OPT, and internship here?
So with internship is like I started applying last September, like and I was going to do internship like this June.
Wait a minute. You are saying you started applying last September when you wanted to
Yeah,
start?
yeah.
That's a great
Yeah,
beginning. It's a really thumbs
Yeah.
up, because I see that people start, if they want to do it in March, they will start in January.
No, that's really late actually.
Uh-huh.
It's super late. So I started in like September, and then I interviewed with a few companies, and then after every interview you basically get to know like where you're lacking.
Mm-hmm.
So every interview is like a learning. And I actually got into a company called Verily Life Sciences, which is a Google subsidiary. But due to COVID, they actually they weren't hiring interns anymore, so their internship program was not in place.
So you were selected
then-
there, you mean to say, and then
Yeah.
you got an offer
But then
letter
it got
from them?
yeah. But it got rescinded.
Oh, so they basically kind of retracted your offer letter later.
Yeah.
That's sad
So
to
that
know.
happened.
Mhm.
Yeah, but then I again started looking for. And then I found this startup in California, and then I interviewed with them. I had like 2 rounds, and then I got selected. And this was in I think April.
Okay.
April or May. But yeah, this was around, and it started in June, ended in August, like the summer part.
Mm-hmm.
And then he asked me if I would be able to continue throughout the fall semester. So I was like, yeah, might as well get the experience
Mhm.
instead of taking the on-campus job. So I
Okay.
just went ahead with this.
So is it a paid internship?
Yeah.
It is a paid internship. That's really cool, because I'm really seeing people. So can you tell or share the secret? How did you go about, finding this internship after you lost the first offer in this entire pandemic? Are there any, trade secrets that you would like to share with the students?
So the thing is, like, when I lost the offer, it was like really disheartening. I was in too much tension because everyone around me was actually getting internships at that time.
Mm-hmm.
Because I actually live with CSP and I'm from electrical. So the opportunities in CS are like way higher than electrical. So they were like
So when you
getting,
said CS, I'm just elaborating for students, it's computer science.
okay.
right?
Yeah, computer science. So yeah, they were all getting internships. I was like, I need to get an internship no matter what. I am going to get. I just stayed positive, and so I had a backup during that time was to work in the lab I was working. He was also going to pay me. So like
Mm-hmm.
the finance wasn't that big a deal. Like I was going to get paid there also. But then I really wanted an industry experience, so I was like, I need to get an internship.
Mm-hmm.
Then I again started applying like full-fledged and finally got this internship.
Okay, okay. So this is into the same field that you're doing, electrical.
Electrical.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
So tell me about your internship. Did you get into the same field, and being you said your friends also got internship. So how much is the kind of internship people can expect? In terms of
Okay.
stipend.
So yeah, I worked in the same field. Like I'm working as a firmware engineer, and like during summers when you're just doing the internship, you can work for 40 hours per week. But if you're doing an internship during the semester, it's just you are allowed to work for 20 hours, and you can expect like a stipend from around $35 to $45. Like yeah, something around that. Almost every company pays you.
I'm so glad to hear that in the pandemic also, you and your friends could get the internship. That's really positive news. And, I really wanted to convey that message because, I've been conveying different messages to students. And I know that in the pockets, people are getting internship. In the pockets, people are not getting internship. So have you also seen cases where people have not got it? And what do you think are the reasons?
I think like you need to apply really like you need to apply to many companies if you're not getting one. Like I think applying helps a lot. One of them is like people are not getting because of the pandemic. It's people offers are getting rescinded even if they got one. And secondly, the companies are also not doing very well financially. Like except for the big tech companies, they are not. Other companies are not doing very well financially. So it's really hard for them to like hire interns as well as full-time people. It's easier for them to hire full-time people, like, even though they have to pay them more. They can work for higher number of hours and for longer period of time.
So now that you've got internship, how about your job scene? Like, is your company going to sponsor your H1 or what is your backup plan?
My company it's a startup. It won't be sponsoring H1B. But they can always I can always go back to them and ask them to hire me at least till my STEM extension is their OPT. So like that, like the employer has already told me like you can come back and work here. So that's a backup. But I'm still searching for a job where I can get my H1B sponsor.
All right. So last but not the least question. Tell me, Samarpita, with your experience and now that you are here in pandemic, you've seen, a lot of students going through hardships, internship, some people are getting it, some people are not getting it. What is your advice to students who are aspiring to come here for MS? And what they can look forward to?
So actually it is a really good idea to come next year, especially for MS, because once this pandemic gets over, I think there'll be a huge demand for the jobs. But one negative thing is about the whole immigration thing, like getting H1B sponsored. So yeah, that is one negative thing. But for that, if you want stability in that sense, so I think Canada is a really good option you can look at.
Okay.
Like Canada has really good colleges.
So you mean to say that people can actually come for their masters in Canada and then they can work anywhere?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Okay.
Even Canada, like now all the companies of US are actually opening up branches and big offices in Canada. So it's like everything's there in Canada as of now. PR there is really easy, especially when you have an experience.
So what is your backup plan? Is the Canada your backup plan too?
So the thing with me is like as of now I don't plan on staying in the US in the long run. So like I want to work for 2-3 years and go back to India. So I am not really very concerned about the immigration part. But yeah, I want to get a job. I want to keep my options open so that in case I plan on staying here, it shouldn't be like I am not allowed to stay in this country anymore.
Okay, so you have open mind basically. You're open for both.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That's great to hear. So Samarpita, before we go, do you have any closing comments for students, or viewers they're watching here?
I think like you have practically covered everything.
Basically, you're open for both.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That's great to hear. So Samarpita, before we go, do you have any closing comments for students, or viewers they're watching here?
I think like you have practically covered everything.
Okay.
That's all you need to know.
Okay.
Rest is like you come here and experience.
That's yeah, well said. Yes, I mean some things cannot be explained in words, right?
Yeah,
You
yeah,
have to really
exactly.
experience them, and I
Yeah,
totally agree.
for some people, like for me, it was a big deal, like cooking, studying, everything. But for some people, people who have lived in hostels, it wasn't a big deal. Like they were very natural at it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think like it depends on person to person, but yeah.
So it's an overall package, right? It's an experience
Yeah,
to
yeah, yeah,
experience
yeah.
here, right? Come here and
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
perfect. So thank you so much for joining me, Samarpita,
Yeah.
and it was great talking to you. I know that you always been
It's
a
really
bright
nice.
student and you got an internship. You will get a job too. Uh,
Hopefully.
yeah, and as I said, this is my endeavor to help students and immigrants, in their career and in the mid profession or wherever they are. So thank you for joining. If you have anything to say, last few
Yeah.
words.
You're doing a really good job. Like it's so difficult to work in a company and then do this side by side just for the sake of doing good to other people, like that other people come to know. It's a really good thing. I would ask every one of you to subscribe, like and share for Sonal. And I think she's doing a really good job.
Thank you so much, Samarpita.
Yeah.
Thank you for your kind
Thank you. It
words.
was really nice
It was
talking.
really, really nice talking to you.
Yeah.
Chalo, bye bye.